Good morning. Out here again in beautiful Yellowstone National Park, looking for some bison to photograph. Let's hop in the vehicle, keep going, see what we can find. That's pretty good. Oh, cell phone image. That's great. All right, thanks for following along this week, you guys. All right, all joking aside, my goal today is to actually photograph some bison out here. What I just showed you is what I see most visitors do when they photograph these majestic animals, and myself included. I've done this so many times where I just roll up in my vehicle, roll the window down, get my picture, head to the next pullout. Not a lot of thought going into that, and I'll be honest with myself, those pictures that I come away with from scenarios like this, they're not my favorite. There's so much more we can do as photographers to put effort and thought into our photographs, and that's what I wanted to show you guys today. I wanted to use what is North America's probably most photographed wild species. Wanted to use them as an example of how we can spice up our images a little bit more if we just put a little bit of thought into it. So I am going to be out looking for bison today to photograph. I'll walk you through each scenario that I go through and just talk you through and discuss what I'm looking for. Some elements, some things that you can add into your photos to just make them a little bit more engaging to look at. So let's keep going, see if we can find some bison. These guys are great. Not what I'm looking for though, so let's keep going, see what we can find. I've passed quite a few bison today, but I found some here that I wanted to stop and take some pictures of. I'm down here by this river right now, and I've got a couple of bison on the other side, so I've got a very subtle reflection in the water, and it is just gorgeous. I've also got this light right now coming in and out of the clouds, and it's really making the colors pop, the colors of their coats, and the vegetation behind, the snow, and just again that subtle reflection in the water. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'll stay here for a little bit, see what I can get of these guys. Just absolutely gorgeous scenario I've got. Anytime you can add a reflection, especially with light like this, into a picture, it is just amazing, amazing stuff. I'm super excited right now. These guys are pretty consumed in eating, but I have been able to get a couple of pictures with their heads up, kind of looking across the river, and it's been really nice. These bison in the winter, it can actually be really hard to photograph them because they're so consumed in eating and they're trying to conserve so much energy. They're not running around, you know, there's not a whole lot of action. But anytime you can get their heads lifted, and again that light on it with the reflection, just beautiful. I love scenarios like this. I'm gonna keep going though. Let's try to find some more bison, see what else we can get as far as pictures go. So I'm back out here again with those bison that I started this video with when I was just joking around. The reason I came back out to them though is because they're up and eating now, whereas before they were just lying down. These guys are now up and eating, and what bison do in the winter when they eat, they'll actually take their heads and they'll push the snow aside with their heads, And what that does is it crusts their face with snow and ice and just adds a little bit more, adds something interesting to look at in a picture. So knowing the behavior of an animal, whether it's bison or whatever other species, you can use that knowledge to add something a little bit more when you're taking a picture, like I'm doing with these guys feeding right now. Just a beautiful setting here. Something else that I have to work with as well, where they're not laying down on that hill that they were before. They've come off the hill now, and so I'm able to control my background a lot more than I was before. Before, when they were lying down, when I was just joking around, because I had the hill rising up behind them, I wasn't able to really control my background. It was just, you know, snow in front, snow in back, and maybe some trees peeking up top. But now that they've come off the hill, I'm able to get down on their level and really control my background by moving around them. And you know, I've talked about backgrounds before in other videos, but they are so important. And it's something you really need to keep in mind when you're taking a picture. Again, whether it's bison or whatever animal it is, it can really make or break an image. And you know, my opinion of a good background might be different than yours, but where they're now off the snow, off that hill, I can add some pine trees in the back, something like that. And that's something that I really like looking at. You know, as much as I like looking at a bison in just snow, that's beautiful. I also love getting them with these pine trees behind. It really just adds a little bit more dimension to the image, I feel like. So I've just got a lot to work with out here, and I'm just trying to utilize everything that I can. And while I'm on the subject of backgrounds, there's something that goes hand in hand with choosing a good background, and that is zooming out. You know, I love a great close-up image of an animal, whatever it is. Those close-up portrait images, all the detail that you can get, just amazing. But something that can really, really add a lot to an image is actually zooming out. I took an image last year of some bison when I was out here. I got up, kind of hiked up above them a little bit. They were coming up this hill, and because I was just, you know, above them just a little bit, I was able to capture the mountain range behind them and really control my background that way. And by zooming out, I was able to capture the whole landscape with those bison there. And it's probably my favorite bison image that I've ever taken. But yeah, zooming out and controlling your background, they just go hand in hand. Wonderful things that you should be considering for every single picture that you take. I absolutely love coming out here in the winter and seeing these guys in the snow. It just adds so much to a photo, in my opinion. If you're curious as to what other species I see while I'm out here in the winter, go check out another video that I put together last year on my trip. It's kind of an overview of the different species I see while I visit out here in the wintertime. So many awesome animals, bobcat, fox, otter, elk, I mean, just so many species. So go check that video out if you haven't already. I'll put a link to it in the description below. I'm gonna keep moving though, see what else I can find to photograph today. What a wonderful time I have had out with these bison today. It has been so much fun. I hope this video has been good for you guys. I hope it's given you some ideas of some things that you can do in your photos or incorporate into your photos to make them a little bit more pleasing to look at, a little bit more engaging. You know, I photographed bison so many times before. So to set aside some time today and really analyze each scenario that I had to work with and capitalize on the existing elements that I had to work with to make a more engaging photo was just great for me. And again, I hope this video has been helpful for you. I'd love to hear down in the comments some things that you guys like to incorporate into your pictures to make them a little bit more engaging, a little bit more interesting to look at. So let me know down in the comments some elements that you like to add into your pictures. And I challenge you guys, next time you're out in nature and you come across an animal that you feel like you photographed 100 times already, you've got every possible image of that animal, really stop and just analyze the situation, see what you have to work with, let your creativity take over, and make some fun images. It's so much fun, it's such a good exercise to do, such good practice in photography, so I challenge you guys to do that. I'm gonna end the day now doing a little skiing, see what I can find to photograph out there. It's a great way to find more wildlife, and hopefully I'll be able to get some pictures tonight. Thank you so much for following along this week, you guys. I appreciate the constant support. Be safe out there, be respectful to the wildlife, and we'll see you next time.